Greetings and welcome. This is Rajiv Makni on the Cell Guru Show, and great stuff for you today. The Infinix Hot 30i, 6.6-inch HD Plus display, 5000 mAh battery, 16 GB of RAM. So it's 8 plus 8, but of course 16 GB of RAM on this. 50 megapixel camera, entry-level phone under 10,000 rupees. Looks like $1 million. Great phone under 10,000 rupees. And then we'll meet Erik Ekkuden. He is the group CTO for Ericsson. I met him at the Mobile World Congress. Incredible stuff he spoke about. 5G from imagination to reality. What India can teach and learn from 5G, and even 6G. Is it on its way? How can it be right now? We'll talk about it all. Then we'll review the new Nokia X30. So this phone is made from recycled material. 6.4-inch OLED display, dual camera setup, 50 megapixel sensor. And by the way, the sensor is the same as the Samsung S22. 4200 mAh battery, Snapdragon 695. The price a little high, but the phone's pretty good. Then we'll review, of course, the Nothing Air 2, latest launch by Nothing. Near identical design as Air 1, high-res certified, personalization with the Nothing X app, some interesting add-ons, but is it good enough? I think we were all a bit disappointed with it. We'll tell you why. Let's get started with today's Cell Guru Show. Let's start off with all the news coming in from the world of mobiles.
OnePlus has announced the launch of its new phone and buds, the Nord CE3 Lite and the Nord Buds 2. The phone will feature a Snapdragon 695 chipset, a 108 megapixel primary camera, and an FHD display with 120Hz refresh rate. The Nord Buds 2 will feature a 12.4mm driver along with a new base wave algorithm. Both devices will be launched on the 4th of April. If you love classical music, here's a treat for you. Apple has launched an all-new music app called Apple Music Classical. This standalone app boasts of the largest classical music catalog in the world and is available to download on the App Store. If you're an Apple Music subscriber, you can use the app for no extra charge.
Let's move on now to our top story. This is the Infinix Hot 30i. Let me declare it. Best phone under 10,000 rupees by far. 6.6-inch HD Plus display, 16 GB RAM. So it's 8 GB plus the extension RAM. 128 GB storage, expandable to 1 terabyte. MediaTek Helio G37 processor. Dual SIM 4G, 50 megapixel primary camera, and pretty good camera. USB type charging, priced at 8,999, and good looking stuff also. How did they do it under 10,000 rupees? Great phone. Here's our review.
Coming in hot to the market is the all-new Infinix Hot 30i. The entry-level segment is a huge market, especially in the Indian context where smartphone buyers look for phones that provide functionality and durability. Infinix has made a place for itself in this highly competitive segment by consistently delivering affordable, high-quality smartphones. The Infinix Hot 30i is no exception and promises a lot of features without creating a huge dent in your pocket. Right off the bat, Infinix shows its intention with this phone through the design language. The phone sports a polycarbonate back with a smooth glass-like finish. The back features a diamond-shaped design that shows itself when light reflects off it from different angles. This is a breath of fresh air when compared to the glossy plastic finish we see on most phones in this segment. The frame is also a polycarbonate construction with a matte finish. The fingerprint scanner is embedded in the power button and is quite fast and responsive. The phone features a 3.5mm headphone jack and a Type-C port, which is a welcome change. The phone lacks a secondary mic on the top panel of the phone, which could have been added to increase the appeal of the phone. The screen is a tall 6.6-inch HD Plus display with a 90Hz refresh rate and is Panda Glass protected. The 90Hz refresh rate makes for a good viewing experience, and scrolling through apps in general was smooth and pleasant. The letdown in the display unit is the 500 nits peak brightness, which works for indoor use, but outdoor visibility was not that great. The Infinix Hot 30i is powered by a MediaTek Helio G37, which is an entry-level gaming chipset which promises great performance for its price. The phone holds up well when it comes to casual gaming and even some heavy games on the lowest settings. The phone comes with 8GB of RAM plus 8GB of virtual RAM. At this setting, the phone handles tasks well and you won't face too much stutter while switching between multiple apps. You also get 128 GB of internal storage, which is expandable to 1 TB via micro SD card. The phone draws power from a 5000 mAh battery which comes with 10 watt charging, which isn't too fast when it comes to charging speed, but the 5000 mAh battery does last you the day easily as the chipset too is quite power efficient. The camera is a 50 megapixel sensor supported by a 5 megapixel front camera. The primary camera takes decent shots in daylight. The images do come out slightly oversaturated and sharpened, but it is not a deal breaker. The 5 megapixel selfie camera too gets the job done, albeit with some noise and grain involved. We get Android 12 out of the box and not the newer Android 13, which was a slight disappointment. There is also a fair amount of bloatware, but it can be uninstalled once you've set up your phone. The phone supports dual 4G SIMs and Bluetooth 5.0 as well. Priced at 8,999, Infinix has done a brilliant job of packing in some great functionality in this phone. Considering the strong performance and plethora of features in its arsenal, we can expect the Hot 30i to be a top contender in this entry-level segment.
Let's now go and meet Erik Ekkuden. He is Group CTO for Ericsson, and I spoke to him at the MWC. Great conversation. What will we see from 5G now that's a reality? What can India teach the world? How good is the Indian rollout of 5G? Are we setting world records? And most importantly, what's this talk about 6G? Is it already around the corner with sensors in your clothes, high download speeds that are absolutely insane? Take a look at the story. Congratulations, brilliant showcase of everything. Every time I've come here, I've seen Ericsson do some wonderful things at the MWC. But what I'm really excited about is that every time I've come here, it's always been about what 5G will do. And now we've reached that stage where worldwide many countries have, a year or 2 years of showcasing. India now has about 5 to 6 months of showcasing. So imagination and dream and now the reality and the way it's actually panned out all over the world. What has that come back to you and shown you about 5G?
Well, thank you, Rajiv, first for summarizing it. I think that's exactly where we are. We have, for a number of years, we have talked about what 5G can be. Now, over the last 2 to 3 years, the work from anywhere have taught us that you need good networks, you need them out and about, but you also need them in your home. And of course, high performance and networks, they really go well together. 5G is really showing what it can do. And I think that's really what paves the way. When you have build out of 5G, mid-band in a country, then innovation starts to happen.
Are there learnings now that we are a 5G nation, India, right? Are there learnings from the rest of the world that may have had deployment a little earlier, but in India the deployment is at a ferocious pace now? And are there learnings from India for the rest of the world?
Both ways.
Okay.
I think we touched upon previously a little bit this work from anywhere, and fixed wireless access is one of the driving use cases in North America now. They've already passed 4 million households with 5G technology. You see it in Northeast Asia, you see it in Southeast Asia. I think India has a great opportunity when it comes to connecting homes with fixed wireless access or 5G access. But then I also, as I mentioned, I see the bigger potential when it comes to leveraging the Indian innovation and the ecosystem locally is that there's so much you can do in the remote health, the remote education, remote government services, but also I would say in the media and the gaming space that would naturally flow from India. As soon as this 5G network infrastructure is built out, the innovation starts happening in India, and that could be an export to the rest of the world.
Have you ever seen any other country where the deployment and the investment has been this fast and this much, or is India very unique?
India is unique. Well, I would say that we've seen this time and time again, that those markets that invest early in whether it's 2G, 3G, 4G, now 5G, they reap the benefit, not just of GDP growth, they actually get the benefit of creating an innovation ecosystem on top of that. And we saw that in the cloud and app world over the 4G era. Now we're going to see it more in the 5G era when it comes to enterprise applications, when it comes to high performance, resiliency, low latency applications. It's going to happen over 5G. But I think if you look at the speed of ramp up, in just 5 years' time, we expect that India will have some almost 700 million 5G subscriptions. So it's kind of a very, very big 5G market. It's a massive number.
Now, one of the things, we're just entering the 5G era, and a lot of people say, okay, listen, this is already the future, let's not talk about it, but I want to talk about 6G. You have some demonstrations out here. So, what is the difference going to be between 5G and what is the future of 6G? Is there a massive jump? Because 4G to 5G was a quantum jump forward. Is it again the same, or is it this time going to be incremental?
Well, we are in the middle of the 5G, you can say, build out, but also the 5G monetization era, where we start to see that the network can actually help with new needs that 4G couldn't do. And I think that will take some time. That's why we have an evolutionary strategy when it comes to 5G, leading into 5G advanced, where we have even higher performance. Lower latency is one part, but you also have an unbounded latency for smart manufacturing, smart transportation and so forth, but also for the XR space. That will all come in the journey 5G advanced. So I think that what we are showing, and you pointed it out, is research today, 6G research. We work with leading universities, but we also work with our own research labs. What can we do with 100 gigabit per second? So we're showing 100 gigabit per second over there. Of course, extreme peak rates, but at the other end of the scale, we're showing bits per second, or hundreds of bits per second, from billions, if not trillions of sensors that go into your clothes. So we see that to be able to basically define a roadmap towards 6G, we need to explore technologies in multiple directions.
So, thank you so much for speaking with us. I'm very excited by what 5G was as a promise, now a reality. And thank you so much. Ericsson has played a huge role in bringing that to the world. Next up, the review of the Nokia X30. So Nokia now focusing on sustainability. This phone is protected by Gorilla Glass Victus, IP67 rating, Snapdragon 695, a mono speaker but still pretty loud, 50 megapixel plus 13 megapixel camera setup, and I have to tell you, the camera is really good. Same as the Samsung Galaxy S22, 4200 mAh battery, 33 watt charging, but the price, 47,999. If this was an under 30,000 rupee phone, killer.
Nokia is back with a premium smartphone after a long hiatus. And if we go by the phone's tagline, they're here to play the long game. The all-new Nokia X30 doesn't boast of the most powerful processor, the best camera system, or a super long battery life. It has a different play altogether: sustainability. Being Nokia's most expensive phone, let's see if the X30 can pull its weight. Let's dive right into the phone's highlight, its sustainable build. The phone is eco-friendly to its core. Even the box the phone ships in is 100% recyclable. The phone's body is made of 100% recyclable aluminum and 65% recycled plastic. With the aim of increasing the lifespan of the phone, the front as well as the camera module is protected by Corning Gorilla Glass Victus, which means the phone should easily survive should it have an unplanned encounter with the ground. The X30 comes with an IP67 rating. It is good to see that Nokia has pulled out all stops to focus on the longevity of the phone. The phone carries off a minimalistic yet premium look, and both the color options are quite soothing to look at. The phone sports a 6.4-inch OLED display, though the bezels are a little large, which takes away from the premium look. The screen supports a 90 Hz refresh rate, which is decent for watching content, but we have gotten used to having 120 Hz refresh rate displays in this price segment. The sound is delivered through a single speaker system found at the bottom of the phone, which does as much as you'd expect from a mono speaker. The phone is powered by a Snapdragon 695 processor, which is a capable processor in itself, but too modest for the asking price of the phone. If you are a hardcore gamer, you may be better off looking at alternatives to the Nokia X30. But if you are someone who uses their phone for day-to-day multitasking and need a phone that you can heavily rely on, the Nokia won't let you down. The camera system is a no-nonsense dual camera setup. The primary camera has a 50MP sensor, same as the Samsung S22. The camera can occasionally produce inconsistent results when it comes to color reproduction, but has a good dynamic range, detail, and saturation. The low-light performance of the cameras is also satisfactory. The ultra-wide camera does a fairly good job, though it can be a little soft around the edges. Overall, the camera system is not the best in class, but has what it takes to provide you with good results. The phone is powered by a 4200 mAh battery, which looks small at first glance, but the internals of the phone aren't as demanding, and so the phone manages to last the entire day with moderate to heavy usage. At the 47,999 mark, the Nokia X30 does not justify its price. Nokia has focused on the build of the phone, making sure it is strong, durable, and eco-friendly. It would have made for a solid competitor if it was priced lower.
Let's take a quick break right now on the Cell Guru Show. When we come back, so much more to show you. Now let's talk about the Nothing Ear 2. This is Nothing's latest launch, and when they spoke to me about it, when the rumor started off, I was so excited. I mean, Nothing really, from the design to features, I thought they will blow everybody apart, because Nothing has promised that they will do things no one else can. But I'm a little disappointed. So latest launch by them, 11.6mm driver, LHDC compatibility, active noise cancellation, you can personalize it, reverse charging compatible, fast pairing for Microsoft and Android devices. But let me tell you the 2 or 3 things I don't like about it at all. Price, 9,999. It was about 5,000-6,000 for the first version, so you've doubled the price. Nothing. Second, the feature set is not a quantum leap forward. The design is exactly the same, just a little bit smaller. I was really expecting earth-shattering stuff. This is barely just shaking me.
Nothing has launched a new pair of true wireless earbuds. The brand has garnered a cult following owing to their minimalistic designs and premium hardware at prices that undercut their opponents. The Nothing Ear 1 was quite a success, so let's see if the Ear 2 has taken things to a whole new level. Nothing has decided not to change the design drastically. The Nothing Ear 2 are extremely similar to the Ear 1 visually. There have been minor changes to the design of the case, which is now more compact and the white base protrudes more than ever, which will hopefully reduce the amount of scratches it garners. The position of the mic on the buds has also changed. Since the expectations from these buds were high, it would have been nice to see more changes to the design to differentiate them from the Nothing Ear 1. Ergonomically, the buds work great. They secure themselves in the ear quite firmly and are comfortable to wear. They hold their place even with constant movement or while working out. We faced almost no fatigue even after wearing them for long hours. Nothing has changed the controls on the buds, going from touch controls to pinch controls. You can now pinch to change tracks, adjust volume, and even switch between noise cancellation modes. All these controls are fully customizable through the Nothing X app. Though the pinch controls work fine, the touch controls on the Ear 1 worked just fine and didn't necessitate a change. The buds support Google Fast Pair and even Microsoft's Swift Pair, so pairing is quite smooth. You also get the dual pair feature now, where you can pair the buds to 2 devices at once for switching seamlessly between tasks. There's a lot of other functionalities you get through the Nothing X app, such as Find My Buds and a low latency mode for when you're gaming or watching movies. One of our favorite features on the buds is the personalized sound profile. After going through a slightly annoying hearing test, you are provided with the result, and the buds adjust the high and low frequencies accordingly. Now, while this may not be a new feature, it works quite well and contributes significantly to the listening experience. Coming to the sound quality, the Nothing Ear 2 uses 11.6mm drivers with a dual chamber design for better sound quality. The buds are high-res certified and support the LHDC 5.0 codec. The sound quality overall is quite clear. The max volume is quite loud, there is no distortion even at higher volumes, and the bass is punchy as well. Though we did notice that the buds accentuate the treble a little more. You can change this to a certain extent by making a customized equalizer on the Nothing X app. The active noise cancellation in these are a slight upgrade over the previous model. You also get various settings to choose from depending on how much noise cancellation you need. As for the battery life, the buds give you 6 hours of listening with ANC off, with cuts to 4 hours with ANC on. The good news is that with 10 minutes of charge, you can get up to 10 hours of listening time. The case also supports the Qi, charging standard for wireless charging. To sum it all up, Nothing has done a decent job with these buds. There are definitely some upgrades from the previous model, but with a price tag of Rs 9,999, which is significantly higher than the launch price of Year 1. The Nothing Year 2 may be a tad too expensive for what they offer.
That then was the Cell Guru show for this week. As always, great stuff on the show. Totally credible information that no one else will give you. And we start off once again next week with amazing stuff, fantastic advice. Join me, Rajiv Makni, next week.